4 years ago, Margot Richard, an American living in Ho Chi Minh City since 2007, saw a request for help for a young Vietnamese boy in need of a heart operation. This became the start of the journey that leads to the creation of Grace's Cookies, a volunteer organization that to date has sponsored 46 heart operations for needy Vietnamese children from all over the country. The idea behind Grace's Cookies is a simple one. Find something special that people want to buy and make it so good that they come back again and again. That and a group of highly committed volunteers are the magic behind Grace's Cookies.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Talk Vietnam. My name's Ola Ding. Cookies that save lives is the slogan for Grace's Cookies. This impressive project is run by Margot Richard in order to help children with heart disease. In our studio today, we have the honor to meet Margot and learn more about her life-changing endeavor. Hello Margot, thank you for coming out to see us. How was your flight into Hanoi?
Oh, it was great. We had a wonderful time, got in last night, and we've really enjoyed visiting Hanoi all this morning.
Tell me, who's taking care of Grace's Cookies while you're here?
Well, actually, Grace's Cookies is pretty much of a week-time operation. So since this is Saturday, there's not so much going on unless we have a bake sale or a bazaar. And so unfortunately, this week there aren't any, so I'm able to be here.
That's great. Can you talk about what a day in the life of you selling cookies is like?
Well, Grace's Cookies is more than just selling the cookies. First of all, it's about getting interest in the cookies, and then it's baking the cookies, and then it's selling them. And ideally, at the end of all that, getting enough money to be able to donate to sponsor a heart operation. So there's not a typical day. Every day is different. It really depends on what the opportunity is to sell a cookie.
Can you tell me, why did you choose cookies as the product to sell for charity?
I responded initially to a request to help the boy you mentioned. Who was in need of help to do a heart operation. And I worked with the person who had made that request, a Vietnamese lady, and together, well actually mostly through her work, we raised enough money to sponsor not one heart operation but two. Oh, and wow. in preparing for that boy's heart operation, we not only were able to collect money, but we also got a lot of information. And through that information, we were put in touch with the Heartbeat Foundation, which is under the Vina Capital. And we went and we met with the people of the Heartbeat Foundation, and they were wonderful about taking on this child who was in need of a heart operation and accepting our sponsorship of not only that child, but then we gave the additional money to sponsor one of the children that was on Heartbeat Foundation's list. And I learned about what Heartbeat Foundation was doing and felt like this was an opportunity to do more. So I said, well, great. We had such an easy time collecting money. Let's just ask for more money. And so that's exactly what we did. And whereas the first time we had gotten enough to sponsor two operations, when we asked for more money, we got zero. We got nothing. And when I thought about it, I realized so much of our lives we're being asked to give to different things all the time, be it our time or money or in some other way. We're being asked all the time to the point where I think you become a little bit fatigued and you start to say, well, you know, if it's a real emergency, of course I'm ready to give, but just, you know, there's so much need that you can't respond to all of it. And so I thought, well, you know, I really understand that there was no response, and that seems logical. So I said, so I have to trick people into wanting to give me money. And
hence the idea.
Well, and that's it. So I said, okay, what can I do? And I came up with, I said, I need to come up with either a good or a service that I can have people purchase. And I said, it can't be too expensive because otherwise people are going to hesitate on, you know, do we invest or do we buy it or do we donate? And then the other thing is I said, it needs to be something that's really premium quality so that most people are willing to buy something once for charity, for a good cause, but they're not necessarily going to buy it again. They'll say, okay, I did it, you know, great. So I said, okay, I need a premium quality product. And I went around for months trying to come up with ideas, and there are already so many in Vietnam, so many wonderful causes that are being done through handicrafts or through other things. And I was like, I don't want to do more of the same. I need to come up with something that's original. And just really by luck, I went on a trip to Singapore with my family, And we went into a big shopping mall, and I walked in the door of the shopping mall, and there was one of the known American cookie chains that had a store. And I was like, that's it. We're making cookies. And it's something that it's easy to do. We can make a very good quality cookie. And it's something that for right now isn't really easily available in Vietnam. And so that's how we got the idea.
That's great. In 2010, from the desire to help a boy with a defective heart, the idea of Grace's Cookies was born. Since then, the American-style cookies have helped save more than 40 Vietnamese children with heart problems.
Today, Margot Richard attends a charity bazaar in District 2, Ho Chi Minh City, as one of the sellers. She takes this chance to introduce her Grace's Cookies to the community. This is one way of her using social networks to raise awareness about her cookies and her causes. This time, she's already prepared not only glazed sugar and chocolate chip, but also some cookies in the shapes of cats and dogs.
Because one of the best ways for us to sell cookies is to get cookie orders. So we try and sell the cookies and also get our brochure out to people so that they're thinking about us the next time that they have an office event or a birthday party or some other reason that they may want to order something or give a gift. We're hoping that they're going to be thinking about Grace's Cookies.
With the help of some other friends, Margot quickly set up her booth and starts serving her first customers of the day, mostly kids. The sales turn out quite good. In a school not far away from the bazaar, children are having their own booth to sell Grace's Cookies to their schoolmates. Organized by the International School Ho Chi Minh City, this fundraising activity is supported by both teachers and students.
People know that, and even if it's like a little expensive, they still buy it to help people.
Today was the biggest crowd in Grace's Cookies, so there were many people. Everyone took all the cookies, even the broken ones got sold.
Most of the volunteer students have been involved for more than a year, participating in either baking or selling at school. They know that their little effort can make a big change.
Every coin they spend means more money, which means more kids can have heart operations.
After about half an hour, the kids have sold out. The money they've collected will be used to sponsor a heart operation for a child.
Could you tell me how receptive was the Vietnamese audience to this American idea?
To be very honest, most of our market is foreigners, foreigners living in Vietnam, or in some cases it's Vietnamese who have either through having lived or traveled overseas or who have just sort of discovered maybe foreign desserts. They're the ones who are our real market. The typical Vietnamese, when we've introduced our cookies to them, they find them very sweet. So they're not always very keen on it. They like the idea a lot. They're very supportive of what we do, but they're not necessarily going to be buying them on a daily basis for themselves.
Where did the name come from for the cookies?
Actually, it came from two things. One is I had a great aunt, so my grandmother's older sister, and her name was Grace. And she always did really wonderful things for my family. She used to bake and she used to cook for us, just for the family, not anything more than that. And when I was away at university, she would send me what we call a care package. So it would either have like cookies in it or maybe a small cake that she'd made. And it was her way of showing how much she loved me. And I thought that was very special to me, especially when I was away from my family. And I thought I would like to do something a little bit to remember her. And then the other thing is, in English we use the word grace, like by the grace of this or thanks to this, we're able to do something good. And so for me, that's what these cookies are. They're a way to do something good.
That's a fantastic idea. How do you price the cookies?
Very simply, because we're all tiers and because they're sold in many different ways, we have one standard price that we use for all of our products. 25,000 dong for one. So it can be one cookie. Or if it's small cookies, we'll package them, maybe several to a package, and that's how we do it. If it's an order, we'll sell by the batch, and in that case, we price a batch is usually, depending on the size of the cookie, it's about 25 cookies, and that we sell for $500,000. And then we also are very fortunate in that sometimes we'll have a very special order where they want a custom-made cookie, and then we give them a custom-made price.
Of course. How many cookies need to be sold in order to fund the surgery?
At the moment, we have to bake and sell 1,000 cookies to be able to sponsor a heart operation.
Oh wow, that is quite a large number.
It actually is. It doesn't sound that much, but when you think about it, usually we're selling on average, depending on the event, probably around 200 or 300. So we have to get a lot of opportunities to sell in order to be able to reach that amount.
Grace's cookies include glazed sugar, lace, shortbread, and chocolate chip. These homemade cookies are more than just a treat for the eyes. You can enjoy these amazing cookies, and that as a result, others in Vietnam benefit. It's that simple. Margot is joined by Ashley and Stephanie, two of her volunteers, to bake glazed sugar cookies with icing, the most complicated cookie she sells among the four. She shows them how to mix the dough up and how to get it ready to roll out, as well as some good tricks to get the right thickness. Since Margot is quite demanding in terms of the quality of the cookies, every step of the process is carefully monitored to ensure they meet the Grace's cookie standards. Each batch takes about 6 hours to complete.
It's a lot of fun to bake because of the cause and knowing that these cookies are going to be helping to have hearts repaired for young children in Vietnam. So it's a good reason to bake. So it makes it a joy.
In recent years, these ladies are among many others who are ready to bake with Margot whenever there's an order. They are willing to devote their time for a good cause.
I like people to want to come and try, and then if they discover they really like it, I have some ladies who love it. I mean, who are, sometimes they're contacting me, do we have more cookies to make? And I'm like, no, not right now, but as soon as we do, I'll be sure and call you. And I have other ladies where they're less available, but in a real emergency, they will really try to help out.
The final step is to put the cookies into the oven. As the cookies are not the same every time, Margot thinks each one is a work of art, contributing to life-changing operations.
What Margot tells me, it's very good, 45 operations I think so far. So I'm happy if I can do a little bit to help raise money for these things, and it's just a little bit effort for a big reason, so it's a very good thing.
There are currently 4 types of cookies: glazed sugar, lace, shortbread, and chocolate chip, right? Tell us a little bit more about them.
Okay, our 2 most popular are the glazed sugar cookie and the chocolate chip, and those are the ones that are the most popular with children. Our glazed sugar was a recipe that was donated by one of the other members who started Grace's Cookies, of another volunteer, and it's a beautiful cookie. Usually, typically, it's in a heart shape because that's sort of our logo, obviously, since we sponsor heart operations. It's a sweet vanilla tasting cookie, and then the glaze is a sugar, so it's nothing but sweetness. It's very, very good. And it's the cookie that when we get custom orders, that's the cookie that we custom shape. So we can do any shape. We have some people, maybe for a birthday party, they'll ask for a different shape, different color. We're fine to do that. But if it's just for our typical production, we always do hearts. So we do a big size heart and we do small hearts. Our chocolate chip is absolutely amazing if you like chocolate. It's got 2 kinds of chocolate in it and lots of chocolate. I mean, it's chocolate, 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 and then a little bit of the rest. So it is a truly, if you have a very good American chocolate chip cookie, will compete with any of them. It is absolutely amazing. Great. Our lace cookie is more going to appeal to a more mature palate. It's a very, very thin cookie, and it is actually the recipe from my Aunt Grace. So the lace cookie tastes a little bit like a caramel, but crunchy, very, very thin, lovely with tea. And then our last cookie is shortbread, which is, it's got a milder flavor, a little bit less sweet than the sugar cookie. And it's a plainer cookie.
So you said some of your friends volunteered. Could you tell us a little bit more about them?
Oh, sure. It's, let's see, I have a very international group of volunteers. So I have ladies from India, South Africa, Germany, Singapore, Malaysia, I'm trying to think where else, America, Canada, Vietnam. Not all of them are bakers. Some of them do other things for us.
Yeah. These cookies, you said, are made from the finest ingredients. Where can one find these ingredients in Vietnam?
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you where to find them in Hanoi because I'm not familiar with your shops, but I have to go to about 5 different locations in order to get all of the ingredients that go into the cookies. The butter is imported. The chocolate is actually now, I've been able to get Vietnamese chocolate that's excellent, so I use that. I use a local chocolate.
Great.
I'm trying to think. One of my cookies needs oats. That's imported. The sugar is imported. The flour is donated. 100% of the flour that we use, at least in my baking, is donated. Some of my volunteers, just because it's easier for them, they will supply their own flour. But we have a very, very generous donor for flour, so we're very lucky.
Grace's cookies may be the brainchild of Margot Richard, but its ability to help children would not be possible without the help of Vina Capital Foundation and its charitable donors.
Today, Margot takes her friend Antoinette Catan to the Heartbeat Vietnam office to donate money to the fund. Before this, Antoinette told her friends and family members in Europe about Grace's cookies, and they immediately agreed to give something to help children in Vietnam.
They know me, they know that I know Margot, and you know the good cause of it, and it's straight. It's not going through somebody, you know, filling a paper or going through internet or whatever. The money comes through me straight and go straight to saving a child. So this is the point, I think. It's just that it's straight and they trust us all. So that's the point.
For the past 2 years, Antoinette has raised about $5,000 from Britain, Switzerland, and UAE for the fund. However, she's only one of many others who are inspired by Grace's cookies and willing to lend a hand to children with heart diseases in Vietnam. The butterfly effect is thus highly appreciated by Heartbeat Vietnam.
Margot has been such a great inspiration to all of us, and it's been fun to hear about, you know, daughters baking cookies, and so many people have gotten involved in her campaign, and now her group has support from overseas, and it's really amazing what's happened.
Matt Miller of Purple Asia, a branding company, is another sponsor for Margot's charitable project. He has donated more than $10,000 in service time from his team to develop all the branding and communication materials for Grace's cookies, including the website, brochures, logo, posters, and display boxes.
We're used to raising money through big corporate activities and things like that, but this is a grassroots effort through a part of the community here in Vietnam, and it's been fantastically successful. You know, Margot's little team and her have managed to save 46 lives already in Vietnam through this project. So our part in that I'm very proud of, and really you can't put a price tag. So I mean, the contribution in terms of the amount of work or the value of the work that we've done is tiny compared to 46 lives that Margot has managed to help to save.
Other than Matt and Antoinette, lots of volunteers are involved in the project by baking, making deliveries, setting up the bake sales, direct donations, or simply by spreading the word.
Could you tell tell me, how has the foundation helped Grace's Cookies?
Heartbeat Foundation has been wonderful about helping to promote Grace's Cookies when they're out in the community talking about their own work. For instance, Mimi Vu, who is in charge of fundraising for the Heartbeat Foundation, when she's talking with schools, she always mentions Grace's Cookies. She's always trying to give us a plug. She and, of course, her whole team are extremely supportive of our work.
That's fantastic. The plan is to donate 80% to the foundation and reserve the 20% for urgent needs like flooding, storms. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes. Just to be very honest, up to today, we've only been able to donate to Heartbeat Foundation. Our ambition is that at some point Grace's Cookies will be generating enough funds that we would be able to have the, I would say, great possibility of donating 80% to Heartbeat Foundation, because we want to continue to support that work. We very much believe in it, but also to be able to reserve some funds to use for very urgent needs that were not related to heart operations. To date, we haven't been able to get to a critical point where we would have enough funds to be able to do the two. So for right now, we're still concentrating our effort 100% on Heartbeat Foundation, but the plan is long-term to be able to expand that to help in other areas as well.
The constant devotion of Margot and the volunteers have helped save more than 40 Vietnamese children with heart problems. Let's now take a look at the clip and see the outcome of their effort.
Last September, the Vietnam Capital Foundation held a ceremony to celebrate the 3,000 child saved by Heartbeat Vietnam. Đỗ Trọng Hiếu, 11, from Cánh Hòa Province, was diagnosed with ventricular septic defect since birth. Luckily, he was saved by funding provided by Heartbeat Vietnam donors.
Grace's Cookies has been as much a part of this as the other donors. The Vietnam Capital Foundation that has made this possible through housing a Heartbeat Foundation, of course, plays a massive role in it. But I mean, I think everyone who contributes in some way or another is a part of the celebration today and can be equally proud of the 3,000th child.
Grace's Cookies so far have donated about 80% of their profits to assisting with the costs of heart surgery for young children. Heartbeat Vietnam matches the donation dollar for dollar, maximizing the funds raised for the life-threatening heart operations.
It's, of course, a love for the children, but it's also thinking when we change something in the life of that child, we're also changing something in the lives of many other people around them.
Trần Quốc Thanh, a staff from Heartbeat Vietnam, has visited almost every child who has received donated operations. He is impressed by the way Margot has chosen to raise her funds.
Margot là một cái người phụ nữ rất đặc biệt mà mình có thể nói tới. Tại vì cái lần đầu tiên mà Margot đưa tiền tới nói là tiền gây quỹ trong cái chương trình, cái công việc mình bán bánh nướng của người nước ngoài bán ở những trường học á, thì mình chỉ nghĩ đơn thuần là chỉ được 1-2 cháu. Nhưng mà sau thời gian tới nay là được hơn 3 năm mình đã hợp tác với lại cái cô Margot này, thì mình mới biết được người phụ nữ này, không biết ở cái động lực nào mà cho họ cái huyết để mà giúp cho những trẻ em Việt Nam qua cái công việc họ chỉ bán những chiếc bánh rất nhỏ ở nơi trường học. Cái đó là cũng là một cái việc làm rất là ấn tượng để cho mọi người chúng ta có thể là nhìn vào đó mà thấy được là cái tâm huyết của một con người mà là.
I understand that Heartbeat Vietnam selects the children to do the surgery for. Have you had a chance to meet these children?
I met the first child we sponsored, and because I unfortunately don't speak Vietnamese, I was not able to communicate either with the child or their family. And because of that, it made me feel a bit awkward to go. And also, subsequent to that, when we created Grace's Cookies, I don't feel that I am the sponsor for these heart operations. It's Grace's Cookies. So it's the volunteers, it's the students, it's the people who buy our cookies, it's the people who donate money to us, it's the companies who order our cookies. So I don't think that it's necessary for me to go, because then I'm always concerned that the families will think, oh, it's Margot who's donated, and it is not. It is actually just, I am one of many people who have worked in order to be able to sponsor that heart operation.
I mean, I think especially to children, it's great for them to see that they put in, you know, this little effort to, you know, sell cookies, tell their friends about the cookies, and then they get to meet the person that they have saved, which is, I think, a fantastic thing for them.
It's very true, and we have some really great stories. I mean, I have amazing stories. I have a young girl who contacted me, and she and her mother came to see me very recently. She wants to start selling cookies in her school.
That's great.
Just on her own. I have another story of some younger students that knew about Grace's Cookies. They weren't able to do a bake sale within their school, so they were doing a project for their school, and what they decided is they wanted to buy Grace's Cookies for their project and then give them out as like a small gift.
That's
And
great.
they contacted me and they said, how much would it cost? So I told them how much it would cost, and they said, oh, that's a lot of money. And I said, yeah, I'm sorry, but you know, it's for charity, so I have to, you know, maintain a certain price. And they said, okay, well, we'll get back to you. And they did. What they did is they wrote up their story with an explanation of what Grace's Cookies, and they went to everybody they knew, and they collected money.
Wow.
And they raised enough money just by doing that to pay for the cookie order that they had.
That's excellent.
So there's so many ways that people can come up with that are very creative ways to try and be a part of Grace's Cookies.
I never thought I would have such a great experience to save a child's life, because I'm just a student. But when I knew about this Grace's Cookies through Student Council, I was really excited. And when you sell it or go to the hospital, that's you're helping. When you buy a cookie, you eat it, you're helping the child.
I feel very happy and also very excited too, because I just saved a boy's life. So it makes me feel like community and for my country too.
Students have to be by far the most generous kids I've ever worked with, and they truly, sincerely mean what they do. They want to help. They want to give back to their country. They want to help children within their community to have meaningful, prosperous lives. So it doesn't surprise me at all that they were able to sell as many cookies as they did.
Unfortunately, not all surgeries are successful. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
To date, we've sponsored, within Grace's Cookies, we've sponsored 45 heart operations, and of those, we have had one who did not survive. It was a beautiful little boy. He is 8 years old. His name is Son. His case was very critical before the operation, but it was the one chance he had. So he was brought to Ho Chi Minh City, to the hospital. A first operation was done, and it started to become more difficult, so they were able to stop that operation. About a day later, it was decided they needed to go back in, and unfortunately he didn't survive. And I would say the most beautiful thing about the story, it's very sad, but the most wonderful thing, and it's a thing that makes me want to continue doing this, is his father was there, and his father said to the Heartbeat Foundation caseworker who's there with him during the whole process, he said, please thank the sponsors for giving my son a chance. And I think that's really what Grace's Cookies is all about. It's about giving a chance. And so in this case, unfortunately, that little boy's chance stopped then, but for 44 other children, they're going to grow up and they're going to go on to have a full life. So we'll continue baking as long as we can.
I sure hope so. Can you tell me a little bit more about what fuels your desire to continue this project?
I would have to say, I feel I've been very fortunate in my life. I think I've had a lot of opportunities. I would say I really want to just have the opportunity now is to give back. I think I will continue to have great opportunities, and I think one of them is created by Grace's Cookies. It's a wonderful opportunity for me, and it's a very different one. And it's a chance to do something where I feel I'm making really a difference. I'm doing something that, I mean, anyone can do, but, and you know, my volunteers and I, we are all doing it. We're all an enormous amount of satisfaction. So I feel like our lives are someplace where we have a lot of things that are maybe easy for us or that are very good, and so it's a chance to maybe help someone who doesn't have that. I mean, some of my families, family of 6, they're living on $35 a month with a child who has a heart condition. So the mother can't work, the father's working 2 jobs, there's an elderly grandmother, there are 2 other siblings who can't go to school. If we can take away the burden of the sick child, then maybe the mother can go and get a small job as well, and maybe it will change their lives. And all of that only requires us to bake and sell some cookies. So, I mean, it's a wonderful opportunity for us to make a difference in a way that is maybe somewhat invisible, but at least for us, we know we've done it.
You also have 2 children. Do they take part in the process of baking or selling for Grace's Cookies?
Well, I have one of them who helps a bit with baking and a bit with selling, and then I have the other who is my taste tester.
I like his job.
My son, Etienne, is an excellent taste tester. Yes, he likes all of them. And my daughter Eloise has organized some bake sales within the school and likes to help bake and is happy to help at a bazaar, so she's very enthusiastic spreading the word.
Cookies are the symbol of the American home and the mode for Americans to display care. Now, Margot and her family have moved to Vietnam and made a home for themselves here. In our studio today, we're lucky enough to have all the members of Margot's family. Hi, welcome to the show. Could you tell us about what your life is like in Ho Chi Minh City?
Let's see, we're in our 6th year in Ho Chi Minh. In addition to cookies, up until now, I've always been very involved in my children's school, so volunteering in different capacities at the school. In things involved with the children, so in extracurricular things. I also do freelance work in cross-cultural training, and am currently looking at getting back to a more full-time employment, so that will be a challenge of balancing Grace's Cookies and working as well as still being involved as much as possible with the children. And I'd say beyond that, we just really very much as a family enjoy living in Vietnam, so we try and take advantage of it, like coming up to Hanoi for the weekend, which is a lovely treat. And just really enjoy what we do here. We have some Vietnamese friends, so we get a really nice opportunity to have more than just a superficial life in Vietnam.
Philippe, I have a question. Do you take part in the process of making cookies, perhaps?
Not a lot, not a lot.
So we wouldn't see you in an apron.
No, I'm not baking, and I'm testing a little bit with Etienne. Now, one thing I try to do sometimes, I try to advise Margot on how to sell her cookies, and she also gave us the opportunity in my company. So we use Grace's Cookies for TED basket, and it was very well received. I think our customers were wondering why we had this cookie inside, and it was a great opportunity, in fact, for my salespeople to interact with our customers and explain a little bit the story behind the Grace Cookie.
How do you feel about Margot's project?
Well, I think, as Margot said previously, I think at the end of the day, she's going to make a difference. Leave Vietnam. I think she can be proud, and I'm sure she will be proud to have given an opportunity, a chance to some children, and I hope it would be more than 42 when we leave.
Eloise, I also have a question for you. Have you taken part in baking? because I believe your mom said you did. What was the hardest thing for you to do?
When I bake, I think the hardest thing to do is to remember the ingredients. So I get confused sometimes.
But your mom has shared her secret recipes with you, yeah? Have you told anyone yet?
No.
Do your friends know about your mom's project? Do they know about Grace's cookies?
Yeah, a lot of them try to help out. They really like them and they try to get them as much as they can. That every time I make one, it's getting me closer to saving a kid's life.
Can I ask you all a question? What is your favorite food? Vietnamese food.
I think it would be very simple. I think pho is still the best for me.
Chicken or beef?
I go for chicken, usually. Yes.
And you, Etienne?
I also like pho. It's very good, and I like the beef with the noodles.
Beef with the noodles. And you, Eloise?
I like pho and fried spring rolls.
Can you tell me a little bit more about other foods, Vietnamese foods? Have you tried any cakes or the bánh, you know, that they sell, you know, they're savory pancakes. Yeah? Have you tried them?
Yeah.
Which ones have you tried before?
I don't know what they're called, but sometimes on the road they're not, they're sweet and they're they look a bit like waffles, but they're really thin and they taste really good.
Often the same lady will sell very, very thin banana.
Oh yeah,
like a
deep
dried
fried banana.
Yeah, something like that, and then also like something. It's like a very, very crispy waffle, very, very thin. So the children love that. And one thing that I love is bánh xèo.
Bánh xèo, yeah.
Okay, sorry for the pronunciation.
No,
I think it's delicious.
Yeah.
And there are times when I'll go to the Vietnam Market and get chiếc.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh, yum.
I love chiếc, so I'm a big fan of it.
What's your favorite?
I don't know what it's called, but it's the one with everything. I don't want just one, I want everything. I like all the color, I like everything about it. I think that's one of my favorites. And there are lots of but I don't know what ordering. Just sort of I want that and oh goodness. Great. I feel very
an organization or help you know.
And no, I feel even saving one child is amazing. I mean, if you'd asked me a year ago, can you save a life? I would have said, how? You know, I know. I don't think I can. And now I have participated in save actually 47 lives, well, 46. And I think, okay, that's amazing. You know, that's so great. People have the opportunity to say that they've done that. I think part of it is once you've done that, you think, okay, well then I want to save 6. You know, I want to do more. So I think always setting a goal for yourself to do more. And, and I think it should be that way. I wouldn't want to just say, okay, well, okay, once I get to 50, it's, you know, it's enough. Not at all. My hope for Grace's Cookies is, as my husband mentioned, at some point we will leave Vietnam. But I would like Grace's Cookies to continue. So I'm very much hoping that we can get to a point where someone else will come in and sort of be the coordinator for Grace's Cookies so that it will continue on. And that for me would bring me an enormous amount of satisfaction.
I know that one of the expressions you use is trying counts. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
That is really my motto for life. And I mean, it's something the children will say. I've told them their whole lives. I'm like, trying counts. I really believe that. I think if you don't try, for sure, you never get it. You'll never succeed. If you try, you can amaze yourself. You may actually get what you want or what you want to achieve. And if you don't, at least you will always be able to say, well, I tried, you know? And I think if you just sit by and do nothing, then you can only think, oh, well, maybe, but who knows. But so I really believe, I think for everything, I think not just for Grace's Cookies, trying counts.
It's true. What future plans do you have for Grace's Cookies, and what do you need to achieve these plans?
I would love for Grace's Cookies to continue to grow. I want it to remain a community effort. So I don't want it to become a business or to become something so big that it loses the sort of volunteer aspect that it has today. What I would like is for it to get to some sort of a stability where it is collecting enough funds to be able to regularly sponsor heart operations, maybe more regularly than we do now, and also that it will be sustainable, meaning the day that I go or that the other volunteers go, that there'll be others to come up and take those positions and to carry it on. And in the future, maybe Grace's Cookies won't sell cookies, maybe it would be something else, or they'll do it in a different way, and maybe it won't always be donating to Heartbeat Foundation. Maybe they will find that there's a time that they need to divert to something else. That's fine. What it is I look at Grace's Cookies as it's that mechanism for collecting funds to do something that makes a difference. What that difference is in 10 years, I don't know. The difference may not be the same as it is today, but that doesn't really matter.
Because they'll try.
Exactly.
Exactly. Thank you for joining us for the show today, and thank you for coming out all the way from Ho Chi Minh City. I really hope Grace's Cookies will have a wonderful future.
Ola, thank you very much for having us and for letting me introduce Grace's Cookies to your audience. I hope maybe there will be an interest in participating in Grace's Cookies or in helping in another way. So thank you very much.
Thank you. That's it for today's edition of Talk Vietnam. Visit Grace's Cookies website at www.gracescookies.org to learn more about the project and how you can help. Thank you for watching us today, and see you next time.